We're running out of things to say about Arsenal. They've smashed Brighton 3-0. They're top of the table. Their goal difference is incredible. They've not conceded a goal away from home for over 7 hours of football. It's absolutely ridiculous. They're the best side in Europe. And there's people that comment on my videos as if I'm being reverse psychology, I'm being tricky, I'm being sarcastic. Absolutely not. As a football fan to another, this Arsenal side are as imperious and as scary, and I have as a higher ceiling as I've seen on a side coming out of this country in many a year. Now, obviously, we can talk about the City sides with Guardiola in the last few years. Obviously, treble winners. The side that get 99 points to win the Premier League under Jurgen Klopp and win the Champions League against Spurs a few years ago. That side's generational. Apart from those two, this Arsenal side are simply incredible. And I'm running out of words to describe how good they are. We're going to talk about why that is the case against Brighton, 3-0. Overall, the overall package for Arsenal is that they are a well-oiled machine. Well, it's better than well-oiled. They're an F1 car. They're a Mercedes car being driven by Lewis Hamilton. They really are, because everything works perfectly. The way they move the ball through defence to midfield to their front three, the fluidity of the front three, the danger the front three causes is perfectly balanced. Kai Havertz, massive critic of him at the start of the season. In this game, he was creating so much space against decent defenders. Lewis Dunk's no joke. Baleba and Pascal Gross in midfield for Brighton. That's it's hard to penetrate those kind of players and get through. And obviously, Brighton aren't the best defence in the world, but certainly at the Amex Stadium, the way Kai Havertz was linking up with Odegaard, the way he's linking up with Gabi Jesus and Saka, obviously Trossard comes on as well, Martinelli. The way Arsenal can get through an opposition within 3 or 4 minutes, pierce through their armour, is scary. It's really, really scary. And then defensively speaking, as I said at the start of the video, 7 hours plus without conceding away from home. Trivia, if you tell me the last person to score against Arsenal away from home in one of their away games, let me know in the comments down below. But this Arsenal side remind me of Jose Mourinho's Chelsea. Now, it's not a trope to say that. It's not a stereotype. They are so aggressive in the tackle. They are so energetic defensively. There are sides that could sit there and soak up pressure and have everything played in front of them. But this Arsenal back line, particularly Saliba today, any ball that came around the corner, anything that went over Ben White's head, he was first to get it. He presses so high, so quick. They are such a mobile back line. Zinchenko kept his place from the Luton game. Someone like Kirior has been fantastic as well. This back line is mobile. This back line is aggressive. They communicate very, very well. David Raya as well doesn't ever seem to be making saves. He really doesn't seem to be doing anything really in goal. He sort of collects balls that kind of come in. And to do that against Brighton, who don't waste a pass. They've got a lot of talented players going forward. Very, very tricky, particularly on the edge of the box. Very, very tricky side. And they still made Brighton look like absolutely anything, really. An average side. And this is a side that are in Europe. This is a side that, at passages, are one of the best sides in the league at kind of carrying the ball and dominating the ball. This Arsenal side made them look like a joke. Made them look like Sheffield United at points. Honestly, it's such a well-balanced performance. And we're seeing it off the back of a big, heavy scoreline, Man City Crystal Palace, a side where Man City have conceded goals. The defence doesn't look perfect, especially going into that Real Madrid game, potentially going into an Arsenal Champions League semi-final game. This Arsenal defence is the best in Europe. It's the best in Europe by country mile. It's so settled. Arteta's finally got it right. He's finally got it right at the correct period of the season as well. He's getting everything spot on. And let's talk about the goals. If you've made it this far, make sure you subscribe. I'm waxing lyrical about Arsenal. I hate it, but I've got to sort of also say as a football fan, these guys are fantastic. They really are. And I see it week in, week out. They almost seem to be getting better as the season progresses. If they don't win the league, it's criminal. Let's talk about the Gabi Jesus chance. He creates a chance, obviously the penalty. Tariq Lamptey, heavy challenge, clumsy challenge. It's a challenge that kind of came because Arsenal were kind of toying with Brighton for a large period of the first half, moving the ball side to side. It was a frustrated challenge. It was the kind of challenge where Lamptey wanted to kind of make an impetus on the game and make a challenge earlier than needed. All he had to do was stand up Jesus. Nothing was going to happen, in my opinion, from that position. And it's well taken from Bukayo Saka, who doesn't seem to miss these penalties like he did last season, which is another learning curve for Arsenal and another learning curve for the Arsenal players, because it was a beautifully taken penalty. Again, should Arsenal be beating Brighton 3-0 at any point in the season before today? Yeah, of course. The way they're going about it, the way Brighton concede goals. But this is in a crazy, unprecedented three-horse running where Liverpool got Man United tomorrow. The pressure's on. City currently top of the table before the game starts for Arsenal. And Saka slots the penalty away as if it's September the 1st. It really is ridiculous. This Arsenal side are cold. Kai Havertz gets a beautiful little cutback from... is it Ben White? I can't quite remember. It might be Jorginho. But he gets a beautiful little cutback. And it's another little finish from Kai Havertz, who was fantastic today. There are some games where if Kai Havertz doesn't score, doesn't make massive headlines, then you can be a little bit frustrated about him. But today, the amount of space that he created for Arsenal, it really was fantastic. It reminded me a little bit of Sterling at Man City. Obviously, different kind of caliber of players or kind of physicality of players. But in terms of how Sterling isn't the best to watch in the world, but positionally off the ball, he knows when to run deep. He knows when to spin and swivel in behind a centre-back. And Kai Havertz is doing that more and more. He realises that if he can run far, then Odegaard can fill in the space that he's left, and he can create little boxes in front of the centre-backs where Odegaard and Jorginho and Declan Rice can pick up the ball further up the pitch. They can pick up those kind of second balls, the rebounds, and they did that very, very well. Kai Havertz then comes close, comes near to the ball and finishes off as well. It was a master stroke of kind of positional awareness for Kai Havertz today. It really was. And it was nice to see Trossard finish as well. I may be a bit of a... Obviously, I don't represent all football fans in the whole world, but Brighton fans are annoying. I really do think they're annoying. You don't boo Trossard. Even Ben White was getting some stick today. You don't boo these lads, do you? Really? Really? Brighton fans are shithouses. They are, aren't they? They really are. But giving him grief all game, and he tucks it home. He's played through by Kai Havertz, which is another assist for him. Beautiful little dink over the keeper. Verbruggen, who was decent today actually. Verbruggen pulled off a few saves, particularly from Trossard when he came on. So yeah, look, Arsenal 3-0 up. Control the game. Don't really give anything. And Brighton in the final 10 minutes had a lot of the ball. If you actually look at possession stats throughout the whole game, because of that final 10-minute spell, it kind of created an average where I think Brighton had more of the ball in the game. This Arsenal side are... they're so composed. They're not afraid to give the ball away. They're not afraid. They know what happens when they don't have the ball, that they can be even more dangerous when they win. They can become a counter-attacking side. They are this kind of ruthless mutant of a kind of football side where they can adapt to any situation. If a ball comes over, they can win it high up and counter-attack. If they've got the ball, they can turn the screw and keep sides penned in for 5-10 minutes at a time. They are a beautifully balanced, adapted side, and I'm waxing lyrical about them because it was just one of those watershed moments today where I'm watching them. I'm thinking, these guys are fantastic, aren't they? Bayern Munich have lost in the Bundesliga today. They're going to smash Bayern Munich, and if they don't, they'll hold their heads in shame. There's a chance there to win a Champions League and a Premier League the way this side's going. If they can all stay fit, there's a chance. There's a chance. The way they're playing. Sometimes a club you can't buy the form that Arsenal in. All the stars align. If it's a butterfly effect and we're in a different dimension, Saka gets an injury. If it's a butterfly effect, Declan Rice goes to Man City. This nucleus of Arsenal players that all believe, that all know what they have to do now. Because last season they didn't really know what it meant to be in a Premier League title race. They threw it away. They had no experience. They now know what it means to compete against the big boys. They change a 4-1 deficit in the Man City fixture to a 0-0. They convert it that way. They're through past Porto, which they never would have a couple of years ago. Never would have. They're punching miles above where they were last season. They are actively improving as a side. And this 3-0 win against Brighton, a Brighton side not particularly special today, but a very, very competent, well-oiled machine. And Arsenal just decimate them, don't they? So let's just talk about the Premier League title race. Arsenal's goal difference will be huge. Liverpool got obviously the trickiest game of the weekend. Every weekend it will be who's got the hardest game. Obviously Arsenal have got the Spurs game to look forward to as well, coming up as well. So it's going to get trickier and trickier. But if you can decimate sides like Brighton 3-0 and manhandle them, it makes your life very, very easy. And they made life look very easy when what they did today was a very technically hard and painful physical experience at the Amex Stadium. Lots of running, lots of pressing. And this Arsenal side believe they can win the Premier League title. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'll see you very, very soon.